Okay, hi guys. Just making a quick video on giving you some tips about what to look out for when you're on holiday and taking some pictures. It's holiday time. It's July. Yay, we're all going on holiday. Or well, if you're staying at home, just get your camera out and take some pictures. Um, this is just a little video giving you some tips. So I'm going to go over several tips that I found quite helpful in taking pictures of landscapes and just holiday photos on the whole. So I'm going to explain you guys the rule of thirds, the lead in lines, get up close and personal with your subjects, and um, that's pretty much it. So first of all, the rule of thirds. This is actually a picture I took. It's one of my first pictures I took with my new big kick-ass camera, which is a Nikon D7000. Don't be tempted to put the horizon bang in the middle of your picture. A lot of people do that. I don't have much of a problem with it, but if you respect the rule of thirds, what I mean by that is you have 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3, and it just makes your picture so much more interesting if a horizon or a point of interest, well here the horizon, is falling on the thirds. So moving on, just to give you guys another example, this was taken at Disneyland. As you can see here, if I would have put Mickey Mouse in the center of the picture, it just wouldn't have worked. So what I have here is you have the vertical third here, and Mickey Mouse pointing into the center of the picture. This just seems more balanced, more logic. The lead in line, which we will get to in a minute, creates more depth, and it just draws the attention of the viewer of this picture more to the center, and the center being the sun, and also the Hollywood Tower Hotel, Disneyland Paris, or whichever other Disneyland has it. Next picture, it was taken in London, some arty-farty lines under a bridge. I thought it was pretty cool actually. People would be tempted to take pictures of just these lines. You have to try and make your picture more interesting and the easiest way is by using the rule of thirds. Make sure there is a point of interest on the thirds. Here again, the vertical first third, and you have the people and the bus stop actually just falling on this third. Well, maybe not completely. This bus stop is a little bit out of line, but these people fall on the third. It just creates more interesting things. If the people and the bus stop would be right in the middle of the picture, it just wouldn't work as well. So an interesting picture, try and make it a little bit more interesting by putting a point of interest in the picture. Alright, next. Here we go. So we're leaving the rule of thirds for what it is for the moment, and we're going to talk about lead-in lines. What I mean by lead-in lines is a line starting at the edge of your picture, and it just takes you all the way into the center of the picture. Here again, the pavement is drawing your attention more and more to the center of the picture. So make sure they fall in a corner or in the edge, and it just makes sure that the center of attention, which is this lady walking here, is actually emphasized by these lines which converge actually at the center of the picture. So let's have another one. Here is another kind of line, but it's not starting at the side of the picture, as you have a natural frame being the mountain and the tree. But if these wouldn't be here, this would be a pretty blank picture with just these mountains and the rest of these fields down here. So I used the natural frame to emphasize the depth of this picture and this landscape. But on top of that, there is a line which is actually starting here, and it's just leading you all the way through this landscape and creating much more depth in this picture. Moving on. Here again, this path is actually quite central, but it starts here and it just leads you into the center of the picture, and it just draws you to this beautiful lake. And this has not been photoshopped a lot. The lake was actually this blue and the sky was this blue. Just one more remark on this picture: you don't need to spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars, euros, pounds, whatever rocks your boat, because this was just taken with a small point shoot camera which I'd got from my father for my birthday at the time. So if you're shooting daylight and landscapes and just holiday photos on the beach, you really don't need to spend a lot of money to get nice pictures. You just have to pay attention to certain little rules of photography and just make things more interesting for the viewers. Here again, Disneyland Paris, Space Mountain. How many people have taken a picture of this? I thought, wow, look at this building, it's just so cool. I mean, but when you see it on the picture, it's like, oh yeah, Space Mountain, whatever. So you have to try and create a point of interest. You have to try and create a lead-in line in your picture just to draw the attention of the viewer, and the viewer will say, wow, that's cool. So this is just like a normal picture, but if you look at this picture, you have the launch pad of the Space Mountain, which is just like blasting all the way into the center of your picture, and it draws your attention. It just starts here and it draws you all the way in. So it's just small difference, but it's well, you would think, oh, it's only a small difference, but it just does make a big difference. Moving on. Here again, leading line starting from the side, drawing your attention into the center of the picture and creating so much more depth in this landscape. So leading line, point of interest, and much more depth in your landscape. It's not very difficult. In the beginning you'll be like, oh, what is Simon ranting on about lines and 2/3 and points of interest and get close to your subject. But once you get the feeling for it, you just start enjoying your photography a lot more. Okay, London Eye in London. I've lived there for 7 years and I still caught myself taking pictures. And look at this picture. How crap is this? There's a lady posing for me. I don't know who she is. Okay, there's a leading line. Hey, UP. But you've got this flags in the way of the London Eye, and it's just full of people. I mean, we don't care what all these people are doing there. So I thought, I saw this picture in my viewfinder after I took it, and I thought, Simon, this is just not a good picture. I thought, let's get creative. Let's try and find a point of view which is more interesting. Get close. I mean, photography is not all about getting everything in your frame. Try and find an original perspective. The London Eye is a perfect example. I walked through all these people and I thought, okay, how am I going to get it more interesting? So I walked there and I looked up and I thought, okay, this is it. Using the lines of the supports to lead the attention into the center of the photograph, create more symmetry, and at the same time not losing the interest of this picture. So everybody who knows the London Eye, after looking at it for a second, because it will take a second for them to figure it out, but once they do figure it out, it's like, oh yeah, I get it. And it's just more interesting of a picture. It's a bit arty-farty, but it's just a nice picture. Well, that's what for my taste anyway. Get close to your subjects. This was a normal, boring statue at Buckingham Palace, and just get close to it and try and create a dramatic picture. Okay, I'm not saying my pictures are the greatest pictures, but I can only share with you guys a couple of things which I find helpful in photography and keep me awake when I'm walking around with my camera. Once you start catching, well, if you catch yourself looking through your viewfinder and taking pictures of whatever and not thinking about what you're taking pictures of, then you might as well take the battery or memory card out and just put your camera away. But try and make it interesting. So getting close to the picture here, try and frame it nicely. There's actually a bit of the rule of thirds here and here as well. So get close, thirds, lines. I mean, once you get it down, it'll be second nature, and you will really start taking progressively better pictures, as I still do. Every day I take my camera out, there's not one instant where I don't learn something. Here again, wow, look at these yellow blocks. I thought they were pretty cool when I saw them. There is a line here, but the line is rubbish. It's so I thought, well, let's get close and let's try and create more depth in this picture. So I got really close. This is a kind of a point of interest, and it just gives the whole direction to this photo, with the rest of the blocks just blurring out afterwards. So there's a line, there's a point of interest, and it just draws you in. And I was really close to it. On top of that, I was standing on the road, so people were coming by me and just honking their horns at me. But yeah. A lovely little church in the middle of nowhere in Switzerland. It was nice, but you have to try and get something interesting. Okay, this is a tree trunk. It just seems really boring, but it just fills your frame and emphasizes the nature around this picture. It was lovely. It was lovely light, and I mean it's very difficult to try and get the picture of what you see. I mean, lots of people. I mean, I was looking at this and I was like, oh, this is such a beautiful little church, but how am I going to get a nice picture of it? Use natural framing, a point of interest, creating depth in the picture. This again, a point of interest. Get close, use the lines, and create, here again, another line, and create more depth in the picture. So this one, just to summarize, here are all the different aspects of the few tips I would like to share with you guys. I'm not saying my pictures are perfect, but I mean, if we can all learn together, it just makes it so much more fun. Here again, the 2/3, just don't put your horizon in the middle. Here there's a point of interest. It's a big rock with some moss on it, but it's a lot better than just more water that would come here and these dull looking mountains here. A path leading you into the picture and just making it more interesting, and just leads you into the rest of this landscape, which is nicely proportioned to the sky, landscape, and the foreground. So there we go. Those were the pictures I wanted to show you guys. I would say get your camera out, have a nice time, but just enjoy yourselves and try and enjoy yourselves taking pictures. And the more pictures you take, the better they will look at the end. Alright, well, have a good one. See you. Bye.